Feeling like food, yeah, that's alright. When I see you, just steal my sight. Never standing on the curb of the parking lot, talking about our lives and the futures we've got. And she says, don't you worry, you're only 19, so why you in such a hurry? And it's a parking lot sunrise, with a girl who says that she might just have me Monday. We're into an hour under a parking lot sunrise, with a girl who says that she might just have me Monday. We're into an hour.
The PSP is a console that launched in 2005 in order to compete with Nintendo, and they're relying on the handheld market. I'm hearing something from upstairs.
It is I, Caine from the amazing digital circus.
What even are you doing here?
I appear not to know. Didn't you watch the show?
I watched like one episode and I did not really care for it.
What do you mean you did not care for the show? Everyone loves this show.
Can I at least explain myself first?
Fine.
Although I still expect 15 minutes of yapping.
I heard that!
Growing up with Newgrounds felt like a trip. Every day felt like a new parody would come up. TV was for fun quality cartoons, and Newgrounds was for stupid crass parodies from hell. There was barely anything original aside from Foami's rants or Alfred Alfer, which I never watched. Salty Swamp felt like a breath of fresh air. Too bad it went nowhere. As much as I enjoyed these parodies, I'd say YouTube took over Newgrounds in 2012. Same for when it comes to animation in general.
Now all we gotta do is sit back and wait until people put this on YouTube without crediting us.
Quite a few animators tried to innovate in the more heavily regulated atmosphere of YouTube. It's just that some gave up eventually. Remember Egoraptor?
Yes, I know this is not Egoraptor, it's Aaron Grump now.
I hate how the Let's Play boom and rants influence content on YouTube. At least YouTube poop still existed, which are peak sometimes. I'd say Machinima, who tried often to create some web series using video games, went a bit wild. But it wasn't until someone named Monty Aum decided to go beyond the usual Machinima format to create an actual, real web series original.
Yes?
I said, put your hands in the air, now.
Are you robbing me?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, Ruby. This is a wannabe anime made by people who love anime with multiple colorful characters in 3D, because it's cheaper than 2D. Of course it appealed to my autism. Not every anime fan was into the 3D look, but at least it existed for free on YouTube. So that's what's important. One of the characters will appeal to you a lot. It's like TMNT or My Little Pony, although the My Little Pony hatred was very intense in the 2010s.
Alright, so there's something I didn't really talk about too much in my original Brony video, and it's something that really bugs me about the Bronies more than the fact that, they show the fan in everyone's face and just this is probably one thing I like most about the Brony fandom. And basically it is qualification or qualifying. And this is basically where Bronies take.
However, unlike anime, Ruby was accessible to the average person. The themes being similar to anime, the story complexity with the odd dialogue, it's a great effort for 2012, but dang, it's autistic. It feels like a 3D version of those How to Draw Mangas book, but in an actual animated show with actual voice actors. The themes feel similar to anime, the story's complexity along with the odd dialogue. It's a great effort for 2012, but dang, it's autistic, having all the elements to make me have an hyperfixation on the show like your usual anime. Accessibility overall also was the goal of Cartoon Hangover, who wanted TV quality animation on YouTube. Unlike Ruby that only looks like a very low budget anime, this feels made for TV. The only problem preventing the show from looking like an actual TV show is just the very short length of the episodes. Due to that, I remember hyperfixating on that cat bug thingy back in 2012-2013. I love cat bug, at least based on my memories from my Tumblr era. Yay! Next to Wada Nohara and Yuminiki, whatever JRPG maker. So that opened the new era beyond the usual parodies. YouTube became less of a die in Newgrounds and more like TV. Considering the anime uploads split into 3 parts, it felt inevitable more than anything else. It's just that Cartoon Hangover existed way before YouTube became a streaming service. A lot of the elements I enjoy from modern cartoons, the lore, the references, character deaths, etc., weren't very often in Western animation until the 2010s, when Cartoon Network started experimenting with Adventure Time. Those elements, colorful characters, stimulated my interest in Western animation more than ever. So to see that on YouTube for free? Dang, it was so fun. It's too bad Cartoon Hangover did not work that well. So back to these silly parodies we go. Yeah. They kind of stimulate my autism by being parodies of my childhood, and they're free.
Fortunately, quite a few animation efforts still existed on YouTube, most of them looking horrifying to appeal to the horror crowd, like me. Surprisingly, quite a few experiments happened on YouTube, including the godforsaken interface. While Jordan underneath and Don't Tongue Me I'm Scared kind of exists, they are more puppets than stop motion. Shout out to the stop motion person Hazel talks about. This shit is pretty satisfying to watch, but gory as hell. It has the autistic aspect of the cute, colorful characters with angsty, edgy themes. Something wild happened in 2018. Not only did we get the Aspen Hotel trailer, but also a wild artist popped up out of the blue with a music video, Ocean World. Everything looks so trippy with flying colors, insane animation, and an overall crazy story. That's not even talking about the godforsaken music that goes all over the place with the spooky narration. Wow, the best part is that this feels like the pilot of a show. Through the symbolism, I can clearly see the world building using my autism vision. There is no autism vision. The only autism vision I have is suffering. The best part is that it represents very well the show's atmosphere that cycles between overstimulating nightmare and quiet, nice colors. If you ask me about this contrast, it certainly reminds me of how overwhelming outside is when you live with my kind of autism. It works very well with the format, which consists of stuff happens, world building. I love world building. Nom 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 nom. The thing about a lot of 3D shows that can annoy me is that a lot of them kinda look like each other. Maybe it's just the way they were easier to make than your 2D animation, or just the oversaturation of them, especially in the 2000s. I'm sure this won't become a problem later. However, this show goes all over the place when it comes to art direction, which to me makes it stand out more than Skyhawks or Dragon Booster when it comes to cel-shaded animation. Granted, this show is 12 years later, but it's only made by a couple of people, so shh. Also, kind of like Ruby, this show's episode length is all over the place. I just like that a lot, as I'm used to episodes with a set number of minutes, so this works well with the unpredictable web format. Season 2 gets a lot more insane, however, most subscribers care more about the music videos, which is quite a shame, as this is a very interesting thing to look at. Another web series that I just talked about but I never elaborated on it, but whatever, was Interface. I barely understand the story, as the show also decides to tackle themes in a similar symbolic way. It's just in 2D, using the lower budget as well as possible. The limitation of the animations exists to compensate for the pretty detailed characters as well as the environment. While not full-blown horror, everything is so unhinged and creepy, and
Here.
Wait. I'm trying to be a bird.
okay, that was funny. From the visuals to the voice acting to the music, everything feels adapted for me. I know the protagonist ain't non-binary, but Mischief's a bird. My autism enjoyed it quite a lot when it came out. I just don't remember anything about whatever is past the first 2 episodes aside from Mischief being a bird. I will rewatch it someday, as it sure will please me even more. As for the other stuff out at the time, SMG4 introduced a character named Terry, who's really great at video games and suffers. However, the reason why she was introduced was to promote the first list production. The amazing digital story. Oh, it was Meta Runner. Oh, I definitely remember Meta Runner. Definitely. It was in 2019. I was not born in 2019. I just didn't enjoy where Ruby went after season 3, so Meta Runner filled that void. After all, this consists of a mysterious story involving video games. Groundbreaking. Making a show about video games doesn't always work, but when it does, it mixes my special interests very well. Plus the neon lights, cyberpunk visuals tickles my autism. It's just that the narrative feels very serious. Much more than Ruby, which I like, since the future of glitch productions would be much sillier. Okay, fine. Explain yourself or I will shoot.
That's not even a real gun, it's a Photoshop edit.
Explain yourself! Because I don't feel like watching another horror comedy with horrifying implications that's not Ninjago. Wait, why Ninjago? Because I had an hyperfixation on it. Hint. Okay then, why the action comedy with the horrifying implications? Ever since then, plenty of pilots came out by indie animators that capture my autistic need to have action, lore, comedy, etc. Like shows that I love like Adventure Time, Steven Universe, etc. It's neat, sure, but sometimes I feel tired, burnt out. That's why Digital Circus didn't stick to me, as it also has a secret horror aspect. I like that, but I'm so used to everything being horror that I did not care about anything when it came to the pilot. Not everyone wants a fast-paced show all the time, okay? Oh, I kinda get it now. Sorry for the gun. It was a Photoshop edit. Either way, a ton of shows nowadays appeal to my autistic sensibilities. It's just that I'm kinda burnt out on having to follow all of the lore and all the action and all the thing. However, we have other stuff. What other stuff. Dreamcatchers, for example. Okay, this is a slow burn show, especially compared to Digital Circus. From the subtle writing to the cutesy characters, this show knows how to handle deeper stories with surreal meanings. Star and TV feel both like a nice comedic duo, with Star straight up being the foolish one. This world feels so serene, yet many moments can be dreadful. Plenty of lore drops happen, while the formula can feel comforting, yet many things happen that lead up to season 2. I don't know when it'll happen, but I'll be there, crying. I love this show so much, it's not surprising that Louis Zong contributed to some of the music. The atmosphere of this adventure is so serene, yet so profound, which is neat and makes the more intense moments that much more impactful. The show's vibes feel compact yet varied, mostly due to the lower budget side of things. Not ultra expensive assets, but yet damn they look good. It's thanks to the simplicity of the design as well as the environments that are dreamy, very cutesy liminal spaces that feel empty yet gorgeous. It fits very well with the atmosphere while probably saving costs. The camera angles help too. I love Dreamcatchers to the point where I wouldn't mind if it got slightly more popular. The dark themes mixed with the colorful characters work well enough to create an autistic appeal that I'd recommend for anyone looking for a slower experience to watch this one. Other shows that use a slower pace also exist. Okay, so I discovered Warrior Cats thanks to Wiz's videos on the subject. I also discovered Moon Kitty's Stone Clan web series. However, what I found of the channel is an original web series with no truly copyrighted characters involved. Frequent fiasco. Despite the action comedy tropes, the vibe feels closer to Scott Pilgrim, where everything that's intense is part of people's normal lives. Part of the fun of the writing is people treating these situations in the calmest way possible. As our main character's What's-Its-Face goes undercover to destroy the evil tower, but also do some slice of life stuff with quizzes you can also answer only on your GameCube. Hello, I am GameCube. I can answer questions. While I enjoy the Scott Pilgrim show, it has more of a panty and stocking vibe rather than an indie comic feel. Using ridiculous questions and incredibly stupid jokes make the show look like an animated indie comic. The way everything that looks absurd is part of normal life works very well with my autism. As often, what my neurodivergent brain think is normal is different from what society thinks is normal. So seeing a universe that doesn't work like ours feels cathartic in a sense. There's some gender comedy, but it's mostly linked to internet culture more than boys and girls be like. Everyone just acts the way they do regardless of genders because they're characters, not just boys and girls and boys and girls. I think another reboot or just another episode would create a different atmosphere when it comes to gender, but we're not getting one, so Stone Clan it is. Something else that gets mostly my autistic perspective on gender, aside from worms in a jar, is Nigel and Marmalade. It's just a silly bunch of adventures voiced by Tom, who, I don't know, gets possessed by the characters.
I feel tight. I'm a living organism. I'm a baby.
I love the ridiculous voices of these characters, like Nigel, who sounds like while Marmalade sounds like this. That's just his voice, no hint of sarcasm and no second degree humor, perfect for my autistic ass.
I'm sorry, Nigel. I'm sorry for doing this voice all the time. No real depth exists here, only absurdity. Watching Nigel and Marmalade feels short. You can meet a character, they disappear. The end. The humor can feel mean-spirited sometimes, but it's just that the absurdity makes the mean-spirited humor much, much funnier. Nothing. Just silliness. Ahem? Is your yapping over? It's almost been 3 weeks!
Oh no.
Okay, so Big Top Burger. The humor works in a drier way than frequent Fiasco, yet doesn't feel as cynical. Every conversation feels real, yet surreal. Stuff happens and it's fun while it lasts. Every character is themed either by clowns or zombies. So of course, groups of similar looking characters will attract my autism. Of course! You need to hurry! I liked Warrior Cats, so I like cats now. So Espresso Beans fits my taste. The irony of cats having a human cafe feels delicious, scrumptious even, because sometimes my autism feels like cats. I don't know why I do, but I'm starting to disappear. House of Puso, it feels like Newgrounds, it just has more symbolism and less crass to create an uncomfortable experience. It's also based on senses and sensory overload, so of course it'll feed my autism well. Bye!
Bye, Caine JPEG. Either way, I'll probably do one last video on autism and animation later, but whatever, bye!
Thank you for watching, please like and subscribe, and bye!
Phew! Glad that's over. Now back to the PSP.